Hello, I think the last time I spoke to you about my job, I was telling you how I had been working on like a temporary project before I start work for real, on the project that I'm going to be assigned to for who knows how many years. I mean, the last job, I was working on the same project for almost 4 years, so who knows? So it's quite a big thing, isn't it? It's like a big change to know that you might be working on something on this one project for another 4 years or 5 years or 6 years. There's no telling how long it could last. So anyway, I've started on that job properly now, officially on it, and I've met the clients, I've spoken with them, and they seem very nice. I have to have a meeting with them once every day, like I used to with the old clients I used to work for. Actually, there's something quite different about this job, and that is there's more than one person working on the project. So in the last client I was working for, the last project I was working on, it was just me and the client. But on this project, there's myself and 2 other people working on it at the same time. So that's new. I guess it's nice. I've got someone that I can ask questions to about this project. And at the same time, it's sort of a bit, I don't know, I suppose it feels like maybe I'm a bit slowed down in some way. Because before, when I was just working on this one project, I just felt like I could make any change I want to this, the code, because I'm the only person working on it. But on this project, I'm always thinking about, if I change this, I've got to tell someone that I've done this, and if I change that, and so yeah, it does change the way you work actually. But anyway, like I say, there's plus sides to it as well. It's nice being part of a team instead of just like working alone, I suppose. But anyway, the other team members, they have 2 meetings a day with the client, which I have never heard of before. Back when I used to work in software, software development, like, I don't know, going back 10 years ago or something like that, I almost never spoke to the client at all. There was maybe like a project manager who used to speak to the client and get all the sort of requirements for a project, like we need to do this and it has to look like this and it has to have this functionality and it needs to work like this. And then I would go away and I'd work for, I don't know, 2 weeks, a month, before having any contact with the client, and then showing them what we'd done and then getting some feedback, and then you'd repeat this cycle again. But I don't know if it's just the company I'm working for, or maybe it's just like this everywhere now, but there's so much contact with the client, like every day. And for this particular project, twice a day. And I'm thinking, I don't know, when does it get too much? When does it get, 5 times a day? Like, what, are you going to contact the client like once every hour? It's a lot of work for the client themselves. They've got to be managers, basically. They've got to manage us, and they might not be technical people. They might not have a technical background. And I'm talking directly to programmers, and we're trying to explain like, the reason why this hasn't done, or the reason why I haven't finished this, or the reason why this has to work in this way is because of this reason, and it's a very technical reason, and you have to explain lots of detail. So I don't know. To me, it seems like a bit of a weird way of doing things, and having like 2 meetings a day seems even more weird than 1 meeting a day. Well, I think 1 meeting a day is quite weird. I think 1 meeting a week is probably plenty. So you do a summary of what you've done in the week. But I don't know. It's up to the client at the end of the day. The client's the person who pays for the work that's done on the project, so they can request whatever they want. They can, like I said, they can meet every hour if they want. It's their choice, isn't it? But anyway, like I said, they seem like very nice people, and the project itself, I am struggling to get to grips with a little. I think it's fair to say. It's a fairly big project, but I don't think it's as big as the one I was working on previously. But the one I was working on previously, I would say it took me about between 6 months to a year to sort of like really get up to speed with it, really become sort of like have a very good understanding of all the different areas of it. And even after working on it for 4 years, right, sometimes I still come across some section of it that I didn't know existed. And it wasn't just me, it was the client as well. Like sometimes, this project was so big, sometimes they'd ask me to start working on this new feature. Like, can you do this? It'd be great if we can have this. I'd start working on it, and then I'd find some code, and I'd think, hang on a minute, this code looks like it does exactly the thing that I've just been asked to do. And it would turn out that they've already got that feature, but they've got so many features, they've forgotten what what features they've got. So sometimes they were asking me to do something that already existed in the software, which was just crazy. But it was that big. It was so big, no one could sort of like understand it all. And there was just one person trying to work on it all. Anyway, like I said, the project I'm working on now isn't as big, it isn't as complicated, which is good, but it is still reasonably big. So it's, I imagine it's going to take me about a good 2 months, 3 months to really get a good grip on it. But I do think it's a bit difficult for a client to appreciate how hard it can be for someone new to become really like familiar with their project, because it's not just the code, it's also like the business, it's how the business works and all the various things that go along with that. So like the last project I was working on was about selling it was largely about selling like SIM cards, for mobile phones and eSIM cards. So I had to learn about all this terminology, all these different words for these different ways that phones connect and SIM cards connect, and all the different names for that and systems that there are, and all weird things that I know about mobile phones and SIM cards now. So it's like that. You have to learn all the sort of business stuff, and then you have to learn all the sort of software stuff and how everything's put together. And I tell you what, this project, if I'm honest, is a bit confusing because it's a bit messy. I don't know, the client will say, we need to do something with patients, and then in the system they're called clients, and we need to do something with practitioners, and then in the system they're called users. So it's like trying to like remember that what they say isn't what it is in the code. So just stuff like that just makes it hard to work with. So yeah, it like I said, it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while to get used to it. And I just hope that the client can appreciate that it takes a while. Because there's always, I don't know, I've always got this feeling like someone just expects work to be done now. Like, oh, getting a new programmer to do some work. What have you done today? And you want to say, well, not a lot, I'm just getting used to things. But you have to sort of say like, oh, I've done this and I've started work on this, and yeah, it's a bit stress. I always find it a bit stressful in the beginning because you're so slow, because you're getting used to everything. So I can foresee some like late evenings, trying to finish things off. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Like I said, the clients seem really nice, and the project itself I think is quite interesting. So yeah, looks good. All positive so far. I suppose if I were to say that I had a concern, then my only concern at the moment would be that I've already noticed that, and this is something that happens on almost every project, if not every software project, that there's the desire to get something done as quickly as possible, which is, perfectly natural and perfectly normal. Everyone wants things done yesterday, if possible. But the trouble with something like software and rushing software is that if you rush something, if you take shortcuts, if you're not very neat with your code, then later down the line, all kind of disasters happen. You end up creating some kind of monster thing that's just horrible to work with. I suppose it's sort of similar, like if you were to build a house and you didn't build very strong foundations. So, like the base of the house was very weak because you rushed it and you didn't do it properly. And then you're building the second floor of the house. And then at some point it's like, I don't really want to build anymore because the bottom looks really weak. And if we put some more bricks up here, then I think the whole thing's going to fall down. So we've got a big problem now. And really we should have just built the base a lot more slowly and more stably. So I have noticed a sort of, a tendency to want to get things done as quickly as possible. And I'm convinced that is never the right way to do things. I mean, sometimes you have to do things that way because, there are certain deadlines that must be met. But I've worked on enough projects now to see where that can lead. I've worked on quite a few projects, and it doesn't usually lead to a good place. I mean, nothing's like irreparable. Irreparable just means can't be repaired. So like everything can be repaired. It's just a question of time. So sometimes it's better to spend a bit more time up front and have something delivered later that's good than it is to deliver something quickly and then spend a lot of time later fixing it. But anyway, it's very early days. Let's just see how everything goes. Like I said, mostly positive at the moment. So I suppose I'll keep you updated if anything interesting happens. But other than that, let's just hope things, quieten down and become a bit more normal, and maybe I can get a bit more free time. That'd be really nice. Anyway, until next time, I hope you're all well, and look forward to speaking to you again soon. Bye-bye.